Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I am glad you made it. I have some really important news to share with you today regarding rating schedule changes, how they're going to impact you, what you should do, the new effective date, and there's 3 of them. So I'm going to do a series of 3 videos, and before I get started, I wanted to throw out a special thank you to Kevin Shaw. I'm going to start doing this for folks that are contributing to supporting the channel through the supers features. Kevin did a super comment thanks thing, and I don't even know what they're called. I appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you so much. All right, so there are three rating schedule changes that have had movement here recently with regard to their effective dates. For those that can hear that Stan in the background, he's my rooster and he likes to chime in. So here we go. 3 different videos. The topic today, or in this video anyway, is going to be the respiratory situation, which would then be sleep apnea, which is a rating schedule change that we're all not really that excited about seeing. First, if you're already rated for sleep apnea, you're grandfathered in. So whatever you have, you have. You don't really have anything to worry about unless you are less than a 50% rating and you have a CPAP. You need to be looking to potentially file for an increase if that's something that makes sense for you and your situation. So with that, there have been many changes to the rating schedules. For those that understand, there's a book or books of the different rating schedules for each one of the body systems, whether it's neurological, respiratory, musculoskeletal, so mental health, and so on, right? So the VA, over the course of the past, I don't know, maybe 7 years, has been updating their rating schedules. They're more than halfway done. There's only a handful left at this point. And so the question is, will it go into effect? Yes, it's just a matter of when. The most recent rating schedule change that took effect was that impacted GERD, okay? GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and other things within that rating schedule for the digestive system. But GERD was a big one, and it took a big hit. That, from a proposed rating schedule change to implementation, was about 5 years. Now, the sleep apnea one on here for respiratory, this was introduced 2 years ago, and we're getting some movement on an effective date, and we need to bring you into the loop here. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can go to the homepage. You'll see highlighted members and a join button. Thank you so much to all you members. I truly appreciate all of your support. All right, so let's jump into it. I'm going to give you a bit of a backdrop here. So with regard to sleep apnea specifically, back in February of 2022, the VA sent out a notice stating that some of the proposed, I'm just going to kind of do the part that actually is in regard to this, so I'm skipping down in here. Some of the proposed changes include modernizing the evaluation criteria for sleep apnea by evaluating it based on the symptoms' responsiveness to treatment. If symptoms are fully treated by a CPAP machine or other treatment, a veteran would be rated at 0% and not receive compensation. VA will award progressively higher percentage evaluations based upon how symptomatic the condition remains after treatment. This will bring the rating criteria for sleep apnea more closely in line with the stated purpose of the rating schedule, which is to provide evaluations based upon average impairment of earnings capacity. Okay, that was the original kind of notice out to the public. One of them, there was 2, but really this is the better one of the 2 to explain what's happening. So this came out again February 15th, 2022. Now, if we look into the Federal Register regarding sleep apnea, it shows the breakdown for us. And this is kind of the process. They announced it, they put it into the Federal Register. It allows us like a 60-day window for public comments, which typically are going to come from a very small portion of those that actually understand what's happening. and the service organizations such as the VFW, American Legion, DAV, Paralyzed American Veterans, and so on, right? So all of the organizations will chime in typically in these things. So in here, it's giving us a breakdown of what the rating schedule will look like for sleep apnea, at least the proposed version. They may make changes by the time it gets implemented, but I'm going to walk you through this. So I'm going to read through the Federal Register's version of what the VA is planning to do. Then we'll walk over to another site where they updated the effective date. And then we're going to talk about what you should do if you have sleep apnea. All right, so under diagnostic code here, 6847, sleep apnea syndromes, obstructive, central, or mixed. It says for a 100% rating, treatment is ineffective as determined by a sleep study, or unable to use treatment due to comorbid conditions and with end organ damage. So that gets you the 100%. At 50%, and this is the one everybody talks about because this is it's a very dramatic swing. Currently, if you have sleep apnea and you filed a claim and you were awarded under the current criteria for sleep apnea, here we are 8/5/2024. So August 5th, 2024. If you filed it today and it got awarded under this rating schedule, you would be rated at 50% if you were prescribed a CPAP machine. That's it. Okay, so now let's see what it is for 50%. Treatment must be ineffective as determined by a sleep study, or unable to use treatment due to comorbid conditions and without end organ damage. So that is the current 50% rating. At a 10%, it says incomplete relief. So there's an in between, right? Treatment ineffective, incomplete relief, and full relief, right? So if you have incomplete relief, as determined by a sleep study, with treatment, you get 10%. Then at a 0%, it is asymptomatic with or without treatment. So there is a notation here, and it says qualifying comorbidities are conditions that, in the opinion of a qualified medical provider, directly impede or prevent the habitual use of a recognized form of treatment shown by sleep study to be effective in the affected veteran's case, e.g. contact dermatitis, I don't know, where the mask or interface touches the face or nares, Parkinson's disease, missing limbs, facial disfigurement, or skull fracture, right? So that's just some examples. Now, let's move over to another website here where they update the rule for us. And it says here, and I'm going to not read everything. So on Reg Info, the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, Office of Management and Budget, this is under the Executive Office of the President, okay? View the rule, and it says here, the title is Schedule of Ratings and Disabilities. And it goes on to say, I'm going to kind of skip to the part where it talks about it here. It's okay, conditions, okay, so special provisions regarding evaluation of respiratory conditions and the respiratory system. Okay, it goes on a little bit to talk about it, and then there's some different dates, right? Like when it got submitted and all that stuff. So back in February of 2022, then the comment period ended April of 2022, which we talked about. And then now they have changed the final action date from I believe it was June 2024. They pushed it to April 2025. April of 2025 is the new effective date. Now, it's a placeholder. It's a placeholder. It could be earlier than that or later than that, I'm guessing. So it is a placeholder because we do have zeros. The date is actually 04/00/2025. So it's a placeholder date. It's an anticipation, and I will say that my feeling about these rating schedules that I'm talking about here were that they were not going to happen this year due to the presidential election and so forth. So, especially bad news stuff. So this I would consider a bad news move. So they're kicking it down a little bit to April. Now, if you have sleep apnea, and you have all of your documentation together, and you're not currently rated for it, you should absolutely file. I mean, that goes without saying. If you're currently in the military and you're getting ready to get out, once you hit that 6-month mark, you have sleep apnea, once you're 6 months from your exit date, whether it's ETS, retirement, whatever it is, when you're getting out, 6 months, you can file a BDD claim, benefits delivery at discharge. File that claim with your sleep apnea as soon as possible before the change. Now, if you currently are rated for sleep apnea, there's two things that could happen here. One, you're already at a high rate. Let's call you 50%. Cool. You're going to be grandfathered in. You're good to go. Move on. If you're less than 50%, but you meet the criteria for a 50% on the current rating schedule, which means that you have a CPAP now, and you've just never went back to get, updated or whatever on your claim, I suggest looking it over and seeing if it's something that makes sense, right? If you're rated at 90% and moving you from a 30 to a 50 on sleep apnea pushes you to 100, then yes, it probably makes sense. If you're already at 100, it really doesn't make sense, right? Who cares? I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it really doesn't matter. It's not going to change your overall payment. You're already rated for the condition, and so any of that type of stuff is already kind of looked at. So anyway, you got to look at your own situation and decide if it's something that makes sense for you to move forward. Now, if history is going to repeat itself here, we should receive some sort of a notification from the VA, which nobody reads because it's just on their website, and they don't seem to push it out on their YouTube channels or anything. But we should be able to see a kind of a warning that they're going to change the rating schedule, and it's going to be in effect on a specific date 2 months ahead of time. That's what happened with the digestive system rating schedule. They gave us a 2-month warning, essentially, loosely. So hopefully that will happen here. We'll get a 2-month heads up, and everybody will share that information out there about the 2-month time frame and what to do in that point. So with that, wanted to bring you up to speed with what's going on. Thanks so much for watching. I have a moth flying around. That's exciting. So we'll get rid of that. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.